Recording in progress. I don't know if you heard that, but it's happening. So thank you so much. And we'll move forward. So those of you who are joining us via just recording, my name is Gene Park. I am the principal of Russell Knight Elementary School, and we will now be beginning our presentation. Full day kindergarten curriculum. Mrs. Leapow, if you're speaking, you're muted. How many times have we heard that?
How many times have I said that? Thanks. My name is Lainey Leapow. I've been a kindergarten teacher for many years. It is my passion. It is what I love to do. I want to talk to you just briefly about the full day kindergarten curriculum. It's a curriculum that is built on 3 different units. It's all of the subjects are connected. So our first unit is community, and we really focus on building the community within the classroom. Who am I? Who are you? What do we do? How do we work together? How do we make it a place where we want to be? We move out into family, and families are different kinds of community. And then we talk about the community as a whole. The next unit we talk about is the diverse world that we live in. We talk about different kinds of families, appreciating their differences. And the third unit we have is our explorations. We talk about how to be a problem solver, the needs and wants, our environment, the resources that our earth has, and science, social studies, literature, writing are all connected. The curriculum is based on rigorous standards. So everything that we teach, everything that every teacher your child will have at Russell Knight and anywhere in Cherry Hill schools is based on state standards, rigorous state standards, and they build on each other. So we start with the idea of what is a letter. We learn the names of the letters, how to write them. We learn the sounds of the letters, and it's spiral. So we're revisiting those concepts as we go throughout the year. And at the end of the year, the students are reading and writing CVC words, which is consonant, vowel, consonant words with digraphs. They're writing sentences. So it starts from where they are, and it moves them forward in a very logical way to where they need to be at the end. The link at the bottom of this slide, which I'm guessing you'll be able to access, is a place where you can look specifically at the standards. If you click on that link on the left side, you'll see NJSLS, and then you can look under the standards by subject. It's not by grade, but by subject. So if you look at English language arts, it'll start with kindergarten and move all the way down, and you're welcome to explore those. And we look forward to welcoming your kids. We're excited to have them in person.
Thank you, Ms. Leapow. This is Renee Johnson. I've been teaching over 23 years or so, from K up through 4th. And this has been a very exciting and fun year in kindergarten. And I'm excited to see all of the children's faces and the adult faces, but mainly the children's faces, because that's what we're actually here for. By the end of kindergarten, we have Your Child Should is the title here, but we know that kids come to kindergarten with lots of different experiences, and we focus on what they should all have by the end as well. Mr. Park, if you could move our slide. So as Ms. Leapow mentioned, we start off with letters and their sounds. And if you could actually move to one more slide, Mr. Park. I went ahead and moved this slide here, ladies, because we're using a program called Foundations to teach about playing with letters, bringing letters and sounds together and taking them apart. And Foundations is a multi-sensory and systematic method of teaching letter sounds and reading. And the card that's up right now shows you just one of the pages that will actually be in a pack that you'll get at home. But we'll be learning a letter and keyword and sound. You probably hear a lot about in different songs you listen to with your kids, but we'll be very specific with practicing B, bat, ba, C, cat, k, so that they really internalize and have all the sounds at the tip of their tongue so that they can then start manipulating those sounds. And as we learn to put words together, we begin to start the reading process, both with taking sounds and putting them together in words, and also learning a basic level of sight words, which are words that we can't tap and decode. But yes, it's a very, very exciting time when kids start realizing that these marks on the paper are actually words that they can start to read. And you can turn that again. And as we learn how to put letters and sounds together, we also learn to listen to words and hear the different sounds that words make, and then represent those sounds on paper, which is what writing is, communicating with one another. And if you could turn that again, asking and answering questions are part of what we'll be doing with a lot of our writing. And again, communicating with one another. Another piece that will be in your parent pack is this format that will teach your kids over the course of next year how to place their letters when they're forming them. And so we use words like skyline to represent the top line of a writing page, plain line, grass line, and worm line. All right, if you can. And towards the end of the year, there'll actually be writing narrative, opinion, and informative pieces, which sounds crazy, but it's true, and it's extremely exciting. We just finished up our All About books. The kids were extremely proud, and just again, it's just a very exciting time. And I'll leave it up to our next teacher to talk about numbers and counting.
Hi, my name is Jada Griggs. I am actually school, so I'm going to be starting my second year of teaching. This is my first year of teaching, but I was actually lucky enough to student teach at Russell Knight. So I've been around for a little while, and I'm just really happy to be here. I love the school. It's such a fun and happy place to be. And now I'm going to talk about math. So we use a program called Eureka Math at Russell Knight. I was actually around when they first started implementing Eureka Math into our school. So I had the opportunity to do all the PDs that all of our other teachers did while I was learning to be a teacher. But here are a few of the things that our students will be able to do. They'll be able to count and count fluently and with one-to-one number correspondence. They'll have a strong grasp of number sense. And I think there's one more. They will know addition and subtraction facts to 5. I'm really looking forward to teaching math not completely virtually. So it was an adventure this year. So I'm excited to have the students again. And I think it's Rebecca's turn.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Forrest. Next year will be my 3rd year teaching kindergarten at Knight, and it will be my 4th year as a kindergarten teacher, which is insane to believe. I love Russell Knight, as I'm sure many of you have some experience with Russell Knight. And if you're new to Russell Knight, I can't wait for you to get to know the building and the teachers within the building. So we've talked a lot about the different things that your kindergartner will accomplish by the end of the year. And I'm sure you're wondering how this is going to happen. So I know it sounds like a lot, but as we've all said, the kids will get there. One thing to remember, an important thing to keep in mind, is that each kid is going to progress at their own rates. But by the end of next June, we'll all get there together. So An important piece that has not been mentioned yet is the idea of the homeschool connection or the parent-teacher connection. So one of the most important pieces to your child's successful kindergarten experience is the homeschool partnership. So this goes for practicing and reinforcing skills that we teach in the classroom, but most importantly, it goes with communication. So we believe in, full open communication. We'll communicate throughout the year with you consistently. And we do hope that you do the same, letting us know if there's anything going on at home that we should be aware of. And then same thing, we will communicate back and forth with you as well if there's anything that you need to know, or just, little check-ins here and there. And then the other piece with how we get there is not just the home school connection, but our very structured and integrated kindergarten curriculum, as you've kind of seen so far, and Mrs. Lee Powell went into at the beginning of our presentation. So there's a lot to accomplish in kindergarten, and in order to accomplish all of those things, we have a structured yet flexible schedule. So in a typical full day normal kindergarten year, our schedule might look something like this. The times that things occur and the order in which they occur obviously may not look exactly like this, but your kindergartner will spend typically 160 minutes a day during doing ELA activities, whether that's reading, writing, foundations, and then another 50 minutes per day doing math. The rest of our day is filled with things like snack, lunch and recess, encore, which is super exciting because when I first started teaching kindergarten in Cherry Hill, kindergartners before our full day curriculum didn't really get to go to encore. I know at the school that I was at, they only got to go to library. So them getting to experience PE and music and art and SSI and Spanish are just really, really fun to see, and the kids absolutely love it. Another favorite time of mine is quiet time. So we utilize that time when the kids come in from recess and, the energy is very high, yet we're expecting them to sit and focus and sit with us through the rest of their school day. So the quiet time is used as exactly what it sounds like, a quiet time. Typically I would turn the lights off. The kids can, work on some fine motor activities. They can put their heads down if they want to. It, really depends, but it's all about them kind of regrouping and refocusing, getting ready for the rest of their day. And then playtime is another important piece. So we are all about learning and growing, not just academically, but socially as well. So playtime is a really incredible way to kind of just authentically build their social skills, and it's a really fun time to see. One more thing, I'm sorry, Mr. Park, if I can just highlight morning meeting. So up there, morning meeting is one of my favorite times of the day, and we will all be starting our days with morning meeting, as I'm super excited to do. It's a really amazing way to continue to build social, emotional learning, but to also really build that classroom community. And it's a dedicated time every day for those things, which is just a really exciting time. So sorry, I'm off my morning meeting soapbox.
Hi, everybody. It's Paula Pennington. I guess I'm like the oldest member of the ARC community. I've been in education 25 years, but I've been at Russell Knight for 20 of them. So I'm one of 12 coaches in the district. Every elementary school has a coach. And we put together every year now a bag for you to take home for the summer to prepare the children for everything that your kindergarten teachers pretty much just explained they are going to experience. So this is kind of a precursor for the upcoming curriculum. So on Friday, the 11th, we've scheduled a time for people to pick up the bag for their child. And within that bag, these are the ingredients of the recipe. There'll be a parent folder for you with papers we're going to talk about in a sec. There's going to be something called a communicator for those foundations papers that Ms. Johnson explained, and the foundations alphabet that you also saw. There'll be a journal for them to write with, the dry erase marker, and a pair of scissors, a box of crayons, and a couple of pencils. It's time to change, Mr. Park. So this is just a close-up of what's coming in there. In that parent folder, there'll be a welcome letter. There's going to be a copy of the district calendar so that you know exactly what's happening throughout the next school year. We've added something called 10 ways to prepare your child for kindergarten. That's going to kind of give you ideas in order to use some of the pieces that are in this bag that you will then find in the parent folder. Like we mentioned, the foundation's letters are in there, but the letter formation guide is also going to be in there. We'll take a look at that. There's going to be a document that has websites and resources. There's also a document not listed here from the librarian that will give you all of the digital websites that are available through the district, and not just through our district, but also through our school, the ones that are directly tied to Russell Knight. Time to change. The Skyline paper that you're going to find in the parent folder is what can go, there are two sheets. One is the handwriting practice sheet, and the other is going to be the writing practice sheet that has the window where the child draws the picture to match what they've written. You can put those back to back and slide them inside the pocket of what we call a communicator. Use the dry erase marker, I'm sorry, and it'll be reusable. You're welcome to put math papers inside of that communicator. This is for your child to have, and it will be very useful for multiple activities just throughout the year. Time. These are directions on that the teachers are going to specifically use. Foundations, being our phonics program, has very, very specific language. And so this will kind of give you a view into exactly how your teachers are going to teach your children to use handwriting, because there are very specific directions. So, you know, we're not expecting your child to know how to do this before they come in September, but it will give you a bird's eye view as to exactly what it is they're going to learn, so as maybe not to start any bad habits. And you saw these as well. We thought it was important to include the letter keyword sound because of the specific vocabulary. So your children are going to learn all of their letters, and they're going to have those keywords to go with them, and especially those vowels like A, apple, ah, and E, ed, eh. And it will help you to help your children to learn all of these sounds. You'll be amazed how much they learn and how quickly they catch on. And then of course, there's your journal. This is just newsprint paper. There are no lines. They can draw, they can write, just throw themselves into keeping track of what they do all summer long. I'm a firm believer that reading leads to writing, but writing also leads to reading. And so whether they write letters, stories, draw pictures, anything that they do is going to be very useful to them as they enter kindergarten.
All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Jane Rickensrud. I'm the school counselor at Russell Knight. My job has different hats, and some of those hats are here. One of my jobs is to support your students, and I do that through small groups and also through whole class lessons, which we do a whole lot of. I can act as a liaison between you and the school for academic and social purposes. So if you ever need help figuring something out, or you're not sure who to talk to, I'm a good person to reach out to. One of my not so fun jobs is I'm the HIB coordinator. So HIB stands for Harassment, Intimidation, and Bullying in New Jersey. A few years ago, they started a law, the HIB law. And basically, I have to investigate anything that we deem to be possibly bullying or harassment. So that is one of my unfortunate jobs, but we take it very, very seriously because that is not something we would tolerate at Russell Knight. I am also the 504 officer in the building. So some children may have a medical diagnosis, for instance, a broken arm or anxiety. And those children may need accommodations in order to access the curriculum in the same way that other children do. A 504 plan is a document that can provide accommodations for them. And I would be the person that could help you put something like that together. Next slide, please. All right, so SEL, social emotional learning. In Cherry Hill, we use a program called Second Step. This coming year will be our 3rd year of using Second Step with our kindergarten students. Second Step is a fantastic program for our children that covers 4 different units of study. Those units are skills for learning. So in the beginning of the year, your students will learn how to pay attention in class, how to listen with your whole body, and how to participate in a group, and how to do all of those things that students need to be able to do to learn in a classroom. The second unit is our empathy unit. We learn how important it is to understand how other people are feeling. When we understand how other people are feeling, we can have better relationships. And our third unit, really one of my favorite units, is our emotion management unit. In this unit, we learn that some feelings are small and some feelings can get very, very big. Anger, for instance. All feelings are normal, but we also learn how to deal with our feelings when they start to get very big. And then the final unit in the social emotional Second Step curriculum is the problem solving unit. We teach the kids 4 steps on how to solve a problem. There's lots and lots of information on Second Step at their website, and I sure hope you check it out. It's a fantastic interactive program that uses songs and different activities where the kids get really involved, and it's a lot of fun. I think they really enjoy it, and it's very vital information for them. Next slide.
Hi, my name is Amy Hawthorne. I'm the school nurse. I have been in contact with some of you already, and I welcome you to Russell Knight. It's a great school, and I hope you'll love it as much as we do. Children cannot learn if they're not healthy. So our goal is for children to be fit, healthy, and ready to learn. Okay, so part of that we were already working on with you is getting their physical exams and their immunizations. And we understand that a lot of those don't take place until the child turns 5. If you could possibly get me those forms before August 10th, that would be great. If you're unable to get them to me by then, just email me and then I will be able to. I just need a note from the doctor on what date their physical or their immunizations are scheduled for. It's very important for you to let me know if your child has any medical conditions or food allergies. So one of the things, where we start is just that children should come to school well rested and nourished. So please make sure your kids are getting enough sleep, about 2 or 3 weeks before school starts, getting them up in time that they would have time to eat breakfast and do that routine to get to school. And that breakfast is very important. There is a snack offered that you send in for your child, but it is not at will. So the children have to wait until it's snack time. So make sure that they do have a good breakfast. Another thing that is important is that I see a lot of is when children get injured outside of school. I do need a note from the doctor, and they will be restricted from recess and PE class if they have a boot cast or a splint. Sometimes doctors will say, oh, it's okay, they can run with their boot on. But to provide safety for them and for everyone else, we do not allow them to participate in those activities. And so please let me know, and we can make some kind of an accommodation for that if that happens. Also for medications, I must have a physician's order and sign permission from you for both prescription and over-the-counter drugs. If you send it in, please bring it in. Don't send it with your child. And it must be in the original container. And I keep them in the health office. We do have our school we have a school physician for the Cherry Hill schools, and he writes a general order for Tylenol and ibuprofen. And I believe it's in the summer, they open the forms, parent forms for you to fill out, and that form is in there. So if you do want your child to get Tylenol or ibuprofen, you can give permission on that form. My practice is that I try never to give a drug without talking to the parent first. I want to know if they had these symptoms at home, if they can even stay in school, and then whether they had any medication at home. So we've had different rules this year because of COVID, but we have had a checklist, which is not a bad idea, whether we're using it next year or not, to kind of go over the different things that your child might be experiencing. And those guidelines will be, updated or sent out in the summer. But students who are feeling ill should not come to school. With COVID and the children are not vaccinated, we ask that if they have symptoms, which are on our daily checklist, that you keep them home. The other important thing that I want to mention is if you are filling out your forms, we do need an emergency contact person who can come to the school. Either you or your emergency contact can come to the school within about an hour at the most to pick up your child, okay? Can you go to the next slide, please? Oh, snack, okay. So all of our classrooms are nut and peanut free. You will be sending in your own child's snack, but they should be able to handle the snack and open it themselves. It should be nutritional. And we also, as we get the classes situated, if a child has a documented anaphylactic reaction or allergy to a food, then that would be put on the list, and then the children in that class would be asked not to bring that. And a common one would be dairy in that age grade. Our cafeterias are not nut and peanut free. So if you can just make sure your child knows, if they want to have a peanut butter sandwich, make sure they know that that is for lunch, and their snack has to be nut peanut free. Okay, and any questions that you have, you can always call me at the school on extension 2. Look forward to meeting you and your child.
Hello all, I am back. I should have prefaced this before we began. Please remember the things that we're sharing at this point with you are really procedures, protocols that we have in place in a typical school year. I can say, unless there's something that is unexpected, we are very much moving towards a very typical school year next year. We've already been discussing lunch and recess. Obviously, the governor stated that there will be no remote learning opportunities for next year, and that students will be coming in. So that is the direction we're headed. I should have said that beforehand. The calendar for all the events that are going to be coming up in the following year, please check out our website. There's definitely events that are on there as well. The back to school night, what days are off, holidays, and that calendar will be placed in the kindergarten bag that Ms. Pennington had shared or discussed with you. The other piece is the teachers, when they say that they communicate with families consistently and provide details, you will know what's happening in school. You'll know what kind of events are happening, what they're learning. I believe everyone typically sends a weekly update on all the events that are happening. We know that many of you are new to the community and may not be aware of events that will take place, and they will keep you informed too. The Lost and Found is, we have not been using it this year due to COVID. However, we'll be going back to it. Very likely we'll be going back to it next year. The biggest piece we highly recommend that you write your child's name on their tags. My wife has me do that with my clothes still, because whether I'm a kindergartner or not, I still continue to leave my things behind so I can relate with your kindergartner. And this, I don't mean this to be discouraging, but some of us never grow out of that. So labeling is good. Know that the lost and found will be emptied every month. And so we just can't maintain that. It just starts to overflow. What we do is at the end of the month, we will donate. So if your child has lost an item, please check prior to the end of the month. Okay, Miss Hawthorne, would you mind speaking on the OOPS policy, and then I'll talk about the parties?
Yes, we just ask that you send in a change of clothing for your student. They could spill their water bottle, they could jump in a puddle, their neighbor could spill a water bottle on them. So we just like to have a complete change of clothes for them and label the bag with their name. And then we do have parties at the school. We have Halloween, winter, and the end of the year. Those are our 3 parties, and only the room parents will come to those parties. As a grade level, the grades will coordinate what the grade is having, and so that incorporates any food allergies that are in that grade. They incorporate that into the grade level parties so that those foods aren't served. But also, please don't send any food into school for birthdays. I know sometimes that's a practice in other schools, but we do not allow that. So each teacher will have their own policy or protocol for doing birthdays. Okay, but please do not send in cakes or even individually wrapped candies or anything like that. The teacher will let you know what their protocol is.
And just
a good way to get into the PTA, to have 2 parents per class who help plan this party. And the parties are mostly geared around having fun, not eating. So we look for people for that.
yes, and just to build upon what Ms. Hawthorne has shared, remember with the birthdays, we celebrate, we love it, we sing, we dance, it's a festive time. We just do it without food. We would encourage you trinkets. Kids love trinkets. We also, the teachers sometimes will offer choices if it's a child's birthday, even if it is simple as maybe not specific teachers here, but birthdays can be where, hey, we just want an extra 15 minutes of recess for my class, right? We want to play a certain game. We want to watch a show clip. There's a variety of different ways to celebrate, even if food is not a part of that. So communication, I would say that you will probably find that we over communicate rather than under communicate. For sure, our kindergarten team does that. And I can tell you overwhelmingly, one of the things that is highlighted my parents and you, I'm sure you probably, if we saw other parents' faces on here who've had these kindergarten teachers, they're probably nodding their heads. Yep, right, because they get lots of communication, often highlighted by parents. We as a building communicate often as well, typically at least once a week, and then times when it's really lots of communication, even multiple times a week, from myself, our building, through our night lines. And our PTA also sends out an email blast twice a week. So you'll get lots of information, probably to the point where you will start to hit delete, but please don't do that. At least scan it, make sure you got the important information. And I get it, because I'm a parent in Cherry Hill as well. Don't tell the principal of my child's school, but I sometimes delete. And luckily I have a wife who is much better about that than I am. So please note, district notifications, anything where it's like snow days, emergencies, or a message that's coming out from Dr. Malash or our PR department, whatever it might be, you have to be signed up through Genesis. And so don't worry if you're not right now, that's okay. But at the beginning of the year, information will come asking for your contact information if you want those messages to come to you, emails, weekly posts from the district, you would want to sign up for that. Otherwise, you would not receive those messages. I talked about there's really a ton of ways to be connected. We have a school Facebook page, a PTA Facebook page. I talked about these different email responses. And then in regards to communication for us as a building, one of the things that we try to ensure, obviously there are times when something comes up, but our goal is to be able to respond back to a parent within 24 hours. So just note, if you email a teacher, remember, I think sometimes we can forget like that the teacher is teaching throughout the day, and they do go home sometimes, even though they spend lots of hours, even when they go home. So note that if you send something at like 9:30, at that point, they've begun working with their children and loving on your kids. They don't often get time to even check email, right? They get lunch. Sometimes they could pop in and check it. And they get to the end of the day, and our hope is we ask teachers to check at the end of the day whenever possible, but 24 hours is when you should hear. And if you don't, feel free to reach back out to the teacher. Sometimes things do get lost in the inbox once in a while. I'm going to run through these protocols, but do not worry. If you're not sure or you missed something here, we are going to be having an orientation at the end of August. And what that means is your kid, soon to be kindergartners, will be invited to school, and you'll have an opportunity for them to meet their teachers once they're assigned, see their classroom. And in addition to that, I will review any of these types of protocols and procedures with you while the children are meeting with their teachers. So don't worry if you miss it. If you're dropping off, really dropping off busers and walkers, really everybody's coming right through the front door. What will happen is the doors will be open. Anybody who's a kindergarten first or second grader comes right through the main entrance. Once you get to your older children, 3, 4, 5, they will come around to the side, but you don't need to know that at this point. Well, most of you do not need to know that at this point. If you are dropping off your child, one of the things we ask, and again, I'll provide a video, more details. We know sometimes it's hard to release your child. You want to hug them. You want to make sure they're doing okay. You want to kiss them. You want to get an extra squeeze in. You want to make sure their book bags all ready on their. We do ask. It gets crazy in the morning, and so efficiency is important. So when you pull up. Please let your child out on the sidewalk and not to the middle of the road. That's super helpful. And some of you have baby seats. If possible, you might want to consider when dropping off, putting the baby seat on the other side so your child doesn't have to get out into the middle of the road and then come around the car, just for safety reasons. But please kiss, hug, tell them you love them, and then send them into the building. And so we can get them started and also move other cars in to move forward. If you are a walker, same thing, just move them right through the front. You will have tons of adults. We will probably have safety patrol as well to be able to assist. Doors open at 8:45. So if you come, feel free to wait. But at 8:45, we are very punctual about that. We open the doors because we want our little guys, all our guys and ladies, to get into the classroom as quickly as possible. In the past, we've lined students up, but one thing that we've learned from the pandemic is that there is no need to really do that. In fact, when you have hundreds of students lined up and you're asking them to line up and to follow directions when there's like 3 adults, it's just a time where it opens a door for students to sometimes not make great choices. Great socializing time, but sometimes not great choices. So we found that we open the doors now and we just bring students in. That allows us to buy back significant instructional time. I mean, 15 minutes is a lot. In the past, we would really get started around 9:15, 9:20 once kids came in and got settled. We're starting instruction around 9 o'clock. The other added benefit of the kids coming in at 8:45, into the classrooms, directly to the classroom, which I love. And you'll see we're about relationships. It is a great time for the teacher to just connect with the kid one-on-one or talk with students as they're unpacking. And that's huge, right? So that gives us extra time to do those things. We do strive to start at 9 a.m. And so please, at the latest, have your children entering the classroom or the building by 8:55. If you are late after 9 a.m. or the doors are closed, we will ask you to just come in, sign your child into the main office or whatever protocols in place at that point, and then we will send them to their classroom and their teacher. As someone said it earlier, please give yourself a good amount of time in the morning so you're settled and you don't have to rush. Everybody here has probably experienced it, right? There's a cost to maybe getting 10 minutes of extra sleep or throwing that extra, setting up, get the dishwasher ready or whatever it is. You pay a cost because then everybody's in a rush. That's when emotions get high. Your little one forgets something. Now you're like, we only have 5 minutes to get there. So be early. It's good for you. It's good for your little one. It's good for everybody. Pickups from school. See, this piece, if you're going to have someone else pick up your child, just communicate that with us. Especially kindergartners, we will not release your child unless we see an adult that we are familiar with and that they recognize. So if a friend or a family member or a parent from within even our building is picking up your child, email the teacher, email the main office, just so we are aware. And really any routine change, doctor's appointments, if you give us a heads up, the teacher and the main office, we can help to prepare. So if you have a dentist appointment, doctor's appointment, and you need to get there on time and you want your child ready, we'll do our best to do that if you just communicate it with us.
Excuse me, can I just add that students are not allowed to ride the bus home to another student's house? Because sometimes people make that arrangement and then they find out that that's not how the bus company works. Okay.
Yes, that is a great add-on. So pickups from other people, that's fine. We cannot put your child on a bus that they are not assigned to. And if your child is a walker, they can't take the bus. And that has to do with insurance purposes from the company. If your child will be taking the bus, no worries. Information again will be sent at the end of the summer in August. So it'll come to you probably like 2 weeks prior to, and it'll give you the times when you need to be at the stop, and give you all the details that will be necessary for you. Remind your child that they need to wear the belts on the bus. And then, last piece is if our young folks, our kinders, when they're dropped off, the bus company will not release a child without someone there, an older sibling, a babysitter, mom, dad, grandmom, somebody who can pick the child up. If there's no one there, they will bring the child back to school. They'll hang out with me. And then I'll call you and you'll just have to pick them up from school. This is, many of you have probably already signed up for this, but we have a SAC program. So it's a before school and after school program. You can see it starts at 7 a.m. and it will also in the afternoon from right after end of school to 6 p.m. If that is something that is of interest to you, I would highly encourage you. And if you haven't signed up, our numbers tend to get very high and they do close out. I would recommend reaching out to this link as soon as possible. You can also go to the district website and search for SAC and you will have information there as well. If you have any questions about the presentation, feel free to email or anything about our school. Feel free to email me. My email is epark@chclc.org. And then Mrs. Giampietro is phenomenal. We work very closely together and we ensure that what I know, she knows. And she serves as really one of the hubs of our school. So she can most likely answer any questions that you will have. So last piece, Miss Pennington had mentioned that we will have bags, readiness bags for you. If you are able, it will be this Friday, correct? Yes, this Friday, June 11th, 2:15 to 3:15. Are we, I should have asked you before, are we okay with just doing this right in the front of the building? So they can just pull up?
Yep.
Great.
And
So,
if anyone can't make it, I'm in the building throughout the summer, definitely. Most weeks throughout July until the end of July, and then I'll be back again in August. Just give me a call and we'll get you a bag if you're not able to pick one up on time. Just give us a call. We can leave it at the desk. I can leave it hanging on the door. We'll make sure you get it. I'll drop it off at your house. Just make a cup of tea. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Jean, I wonder if we might want to think about the side entrance because it's all week looks like rain. I don't know what's going to happen on Friday, but it's looking like rain. So maybe the side entrance so we could stand under the awning. Just a thought.
Yeah, we can do that. That's a good point, especially if it's raining, nobody has to get out of the car. So what we will do is I will provide some information for you. Those of you who are familiar and anybody who has seen the school, if you're facing the school and looking at the building, over on the right side, you will see a blacktop. We don't typically use it for parking, but what you can do is you can come right into that parking lot and then loop around and you'll see the awning. You'll see teachers there distributing bags. So I'll follow up and send additional information, just reiterating that as well. And I'm seeing some questions in the chat. So I will start to answer them there. One parent for a few kids on the block. Okay. Mr. De Gregorio, if you could just ask the question, unmute and ask the question, and clarify for me, that would be helpful.
Hey, sorry, at the bus stop, is it okay if one of the parents on the block picks up a few of the children?
Yes, that is fine.
Yes. The only thing I would ask is that I'm going to have a checklist so I know who's gotten them and who maybe I need to reach out to afterward. So as long as you have the names of the children for whom you're taking the bags, I don't have a problem with that.
I know I'm talking about during the school year. If there's one adult, for like 2 or 3 kids that live on the same street, is that okay at the bus stop?
Yes, as long as there is an adult that the child can go with, that is totally okay. But I like what Ms. Pennington brought up as well. If you want to team up and send one person out to grab bags for multiple children, we're fine with that. Just give us the names of the children or families. Thanks, Mr. De Gregorio. I'm going to have a hard time with that, but I will get it. Mrs. Gaynor, if you already have a student at art, can it be sent home with them? Sure. If you send an email to Miss Pennington, ppennington@chclc.org, she will make sure it gets to the child. Yes, was going to ask the same question. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, any other questions? Our work is done. I cannot wait to meet your little ones and families who are here. I'm so excited to have another one here, but our new families, I can't not wait to get to know you all. And really excited about it and looking forward to you just experiencing what many kindergarten children have experienced, even in the midst of a pandemic. Your child will feel loved. And we believe that kindergarten is essential. It is the first experience that they have in our school. And if I was a betting person, I would put money down that your child will have a great first impression here and do well. I'm confident in the people that will be serving your children. So if you have anything else, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, good night to all. Take care. Kindergarten team, Miss Hawthorne, Miss Rick, Miss Pennington. Thank you so much. You guys were awesome. Have a good night.